Alright, here we go. I just came back from the showers. Well, this is it. Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday. Time to bring down a little justice. Eee! What was that? He is heard but unseen. Who's that talking? About Gramarye. Kissing the door like an average muggle, no less. You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Bound? Oh! 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 Up! Up! Ha! Shoo! Ha! Shoo! A preposterous proposition! How could I stand to stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets would be free for the plucking. I might even have to sign autographs. That's why I intend to remain hidden for the entire day. Ooh, with vanishing magic? Indeed, I will jump upon an express train and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? Okay, so I'm changing my mind. I think Darian might be the real criminal here. But and if that's the case and Valent isn't the one responsible, it could also be possible that they're accomplices or something. But how does that explain Machi and the relationship with one another as well as with Phoenix and Truce? And Valent maybe even. There's a lot going on here, very complex. But I do think if Valent doesn't end up being the one right now, he will show up in the next episode. Probably. A grand Gramarye glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. A glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. Miss Trucy, don't paint me to part so. I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell. And there he goes. Sure seemed happy about that illusion thing. Oh, big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. You can't pull off a show without one. The big illusion is always a spectacle to remember. Usually it involves cutting up things in the Eiffel Tower. Anything really. So he's talking about what he saw at the concert? Lemuror's disappearing act. And Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar. I wonder what he meant by it being at the root of all that has happened. Well, it's about time. Shall we go? Ah, excuse me, sir. Yes? Scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing until 10:30 a.m. Sorry for the inconvenience. Huh? Did something happen? This is a first. It was by the judge's request, some urgent personal business. Great. I bet he stayed up too late last night watching courtroom dramas. Apparently he's visiting the hospital again. The hospital? I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this Oh, his sickness. I think I get what might be going on soon. At least the reason why Machi's here and why he has smuggled cocoons. Chief Justice's son. Oh, that's right. I remember yesterday morning the judge said he had to go visit him after the trial. There's an article about it in the newspaper. If you care to read about it yourself. Incuritis. Where have I heard that before? I'll let you read that article for us, Apollo. Just leave the TV guide page to me. Try not to lose the page with the funnies if you can. It's like 2021 canonically in this game, and they're still reading newspapers. That's the most unbelievable part. My apologies for the delay. Court is now in session for the trial of, how do I say his name again? Machi Tabai, our suspect fortissimo. Right, it's his trial. In any case, the defense is prepared, Your Honor. Prosecution is ready to rock. Is something wrong, Your Honor? No, well, yes. It's just, I've been friends with the Chief of Justice since we were friends. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time. Isn't David Gant? So is it like his son or something? Incuritis, was it? That article said there is no known cure. Judge, let me say with all honesty, I feel your pain. Now's not the time for tears. Now's the time for law. Indeed. We left off at quite the juncture yesterday. Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Darian would guest star in the season cliffhanger? As a suspect, I asked the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings. Darian Crescent is a member of my band, the Gaviners. He's also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case or file new charges. And your reason is? Weren't you aware, her forehead? He has an impeccable alibi. An alibi? Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert held on the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. The Gaviners ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guest took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Lemeroy, and Machi, along with a drummer and bassist, for a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third set. Lemeroy and the defendant Machi Tabai had left the stage at that point. And the Gaviners were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Sky, mind you. And Apollo. You heard them too, right? Sure did. Furthermore, Lemeroy herself witnessed the moment of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime. Don't you claim to have heard Mr. Latouche and Detective Crescent talking? But that's impossible. Detective Crescent was. Precisely. Detective Crescent was on stage, getting his groove on, no less. Voila. A perfect alibi. Does the defense have anything to add to this? It's true. When I heard those gunshots, it must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up. It appears the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say that Darian Crescent's alibi has been acknowledged. which means that Lamiroir was sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true. Very well, of course. If we disregard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections... Uh-oh, Apollo, if he declares a verdict now... Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lamiroir might have been lying to protect Machi. Can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about Chesterday in the detention center? Would we kindly call Machi Tabay to the stand? Machi was trying to tell us something, I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him under oath. Very well, the court finds the defendant, what was his name again? Your Honor! No, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquis or Mr. Justice? Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I'd like to call another witness. Exactly who else do you need to hear from? A witness who until now has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean? I do. The defense calls defendant Machi Tabay to the stand. What? But he doesn't speak English. We'll use an interpreter. Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases such as I love you and where's the toilet? The defense would like to request Lamiroir as the interpreter. Lamiroir? But there's a possibility she's protecting the defendant. But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie? This is most unusual. Bravo, her forehead. Her judge. The prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lamiroir lies, I'll be able to tell. With my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that. Well, if both prosecution and defense are ready for this, I see little cause for refusal. Finally, some progress. Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lamiroir to the witness stand. Poor judge can't pronounce Virginian names. I suppose there is a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name to begin with, if you would, Lamiroir. Yes. He says Machi Tabay, the defendant. This is certainly a first for this courtroom. Not that we really needed an interpretation of that message in particular. So far so good. Very well, Mr. Justice, if you would, huh? If I would what? You're the one who called Apollo. Ask. Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him testify about? What do I want him to testify about? I hadn't thought that far yet. Apollo, aren't you going to ask him what he was about to tell you up yesterday? How can I if I don't know what he was saying? Excuse me a moment, if I might speak. Yes, Lamiroir. Just now, Machi said there is something about which he wishes to testify. Machi wants to testify about something? What could it be? What sort of testimony is he talking about? One moment, please. The suspense is killing me. What? What? Well, Lamiroir, according to Machi, he has proof of his innocence. What? Could have started off with this, you know. You're the worst defense I've ever had to defend for so far. This is a surprise. Yahoo! Victory, Apollo, we did it! This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that usually means. Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony, Lamiroir, Machi. Please testify to the court. Very well. He says that word of Mr. Letus's death came as a great shock, but if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, I, that is, he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them. I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to this song. That would prevent him from following them so closely. I wondered what he meant by prove. Why, he would only have to ask Lamiror to know the meaning of that song. Lamiror, did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him? I did tell him generally what the song was about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked. Had my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lamiror might be protecting the witness. Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would. Yes, Your Honor. Something's hidden in that testimony, I know it, yep. I just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. Worked yesterday, it'll work today. So far, my opinion on the new mechanics. The bracelet thingy is kinda cool. But the investigation thingy with the minigames, they're fucking pointless. And the reason for that is there's not enough usage for them so far. I mean, there's literally been 0 so far this episode. Well, actually there's been 1, but that was it. Looks like it'll all be up to... It's gonna be all about Lamiror's body language. Are Machi and Mr. Latus close? Yes, after we traveled around the world on tour together. Lamiror, this is Machi's cross-examination, not yours. But I knew the answer. This is a court of law. We'll play by the book. I understand. Prosecutor Gavin stuff, he's really tough. Machi says he was very good friends with Mr. Latus. Mr. Latus was always a gentleman, never angry. We got along quite well. I never dreamed something like this would happen. The guitar serenade, correct? Yes, the crime followed the lyrics of the song. The theft of the keyring, the burning guitar, and the bullet. This is why it could not have been me. I could not have done it, you mean? It's very simple. Machi could not have done all the things that happened that day. For all those things followed the song's lyrics closely. Would it be difficult for him to perform without knowing the meaning of the lyrics? Not really. He didn't know what the song was about, its mood, shall we say. This was enough to play by. I told him it was a song about a guitar in love. It's not actually the guitar that in love, strictly speaking. Oh, perhaps I misunderstood. Ah, no, not really. Yours is also a valid interpretation. Okay. Suddenly we're talking about the song again. No, it is my fault. I am too used to singing in Virginian. It's much easier than trying to understand these English lyrics. Yay, I knew he was innocent. I believe he is too, Trucy, I do. What's wrong, Apollo? You got a tummy ache or something? Something's hidden in that testimony. If the truth, I'll find it. Oh, look at that. Whoa. Whoa. I was right. Holy shit, this was just a wild guess. I was like, yeah, it started off with me at Machi. I guess I might as well check Machi before I go with Lamiror. And wow, it was Machi who was the one with the weird verbal body language. Gotcha! He knows English, doesn't he? Machi. Can't fool my eyes. He glanced towards her the very moment Lamiroar said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you? What are you saying? Of course he can't. Must he continue this charade? Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English. Huh? Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language. That is all. What? Give me a break. Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance? Oh, yeah, but... I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language. Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime followed the lyrics? Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple, it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper. A newspaper? The Virginian Daily Bugle. Bugle. I don't actually know how to pronounce that. You can buy it in this country these days, you know. They've already begun to report about this case in our homeland. I was right. What's wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden. Machi is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. This is the thing I gotta show, right? BAM! I have here a Virginian newspaper. The Virginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there's a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Machi? Oof! That's right. Doesn't mention the lyrics. Oh, what? What is this all about? Sorry, Machi. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Virginian newspaper. I believe it's safe to assume that was just him screaming. Wow! What does this mean? But I don't see how it's possible. Ah, I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes. Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I heard a full report myself. So the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less. The witness will explain herself. Oh, himself. Machi says. He says. Yes. It is true I read the newspaper, but this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember. You remember? He says he heard of the lyrics from me. What? Is this true, Lamiroar? Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself. It looks like her forehead's been jumping to conclusions again. Seems so, yes. No, no! I was on to something, I know it. Can't let this chance slip away. Time is an issue today, Mr. Justice. Are you finished with the cross-examination? What are you going to do, Apollo? If I'm going to keep on cross-examining, I'd better have an angle of attack. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue. You must, you must. Very well, witness. I understand. Alright, something new's been added at least. I believe that's where I should attack. It would most definitely be Lamiror, who I should be looking for at. I've already mentioned. It's a serious possibility. Alright. Wait, it was the same shit. Gotcha! Gotcha! Lamiror, I'm currently cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain? Me? Uncertain? Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained. I see there is little point in trying to hide anything from you. Lamiror, are you indeed protecting someone? That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself, and allow me to answer for you. Lamiror, you're protecting... Wait, what if it was Latus? Nah. Lamiror, you're protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, I believe you didn't do it. Really, I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. Now you have Lamiror lying on your behalf. It's going to work. You have to trust me too. Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to. Ugh. Witness, is this true? Do you understand English? Yes, a little, only. What? First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lamiror. No, I did not. It is quite a surprise. How many secrets is this witness holding? Last. This is last. Machi, could you tell us what really happened? No shooting. I did no shooting. So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those 2 gunshots, correct? Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in a dressing room. Behind desk. Manager. He on floor. Which would be after the shooting, right? Then there is voice. Voice? Her voice says. Was it you and Dema? Apollo? When Machi went into the dressing room, Mr. Latus had already been shot. And when we came to the door, panel high up, I take off. Run away! Run away! So it was you who escaped through that air vent. As the prosecution has held all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? No, he's clearly denied that he did it. I no shooting. Manager on floor. Already on floor. The victim had already been shot, you say. I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. Does the defendant have anything to say to this? He's clammed up, Apollo. Let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness? Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no, of course there is. It was such a well-kept secret, even Lammeror didn't seem to know about it. Damn. That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please, tell us the truth, for your own sake. No more speak, not to any of you. So much for your precious trust, her forehead. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse. Does it seem that the defense and defendant are at odds? I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other courses but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed. Apollo Justice. That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. Believe, I know shooting. Much claims Mr. Latus was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it? Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close, very close. Then I hear voice. Heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room? Found Mr. Latus already dead and then you heard shots? That's true. So, you're at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots. You escaped through the air vent. I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I opening air vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Huh? Yeah. How did you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I hear this from Magician. Magician? The disappearing act is the key. Damn you, Gramarye. That's what you meant. This is what you meant, huh? Is it? Don't look at me. Magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Mr. Latus. Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's going to well in court. Not. Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says. Even lies. That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. I mean, technically, he isn't lying. You remember On Guard? He defended him until the very end, even though he was a big fat liar. Everyone has the right to a fair trial. That's what Edgeworth says. And Phoenix believes that, as well as his clients. So, what do we do? You're sure you won't testify, Machi? No talking, no. Well, it was worth a shot. Cocoon. course, he's scared. Oh, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach. That's the spirit, Apollo. So what's your plan? Machi won't testify about it. We'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right. Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So will he testify? Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame, and here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. A different angle? Machi won't testify, and I know who will. I'd like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Lammerroar. Lammerroar? What are you up to now? I thought we were determined yesterday that Lammerroar's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can... Lammerroar was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? She was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted Lammerroar dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. Prosecutor Gavin. Why would anyone be out to kill Lammerroar? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English. Yes, yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been? You don't think? I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Latouche. The killer was afraid of her. Afraid of what she might say. The defense believed that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. So am I to understand that this is what you're saying? Namely, that there's a nugget of truth in Lammerroar's testimony. A nugget we have yet to uncover. Exactly. Lammerroar was attacked. This has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lammerroar's testimony once more. Lammerroar, I must apologize. I must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, but I will do all that I can until the court realizes this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window. And that the voice belonged to Darian Ursan, yes? That is correct. At which point it proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed. It was found to be quite soundproof. You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice? I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is, it seems, much you do not know. Yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court? Of course, Your Honor. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth. Then it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lammerroar was attacked because of this testimony. What, Trucy? Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you're pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead. Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness? I know it has to do with those freaking devices. How do I make it relate? I don't like Apollo's voice lines as much as Phoenix and Miles during the first 3 games. Whenever they say anything, I do like the way he says "gotcha," but everything else they sound way too long-winded. They still have that feel to them. The sound effect definitely helps, but unlike Phoenix, he was always like super fast. Apollo's like hold it, but meanwhile Phoenix is like hold it, super fast. Is something wrong? I raised an objection. She's saying the same thing she said before. Your Justice? Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony. Now I know what they mean about the reckless youth these days. The one in red over there is a shining example, Her Judge. Aaron Persand. Did not know his name at the time, but yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday. What time do I need to remind you that's impossible? There's no way I could have heard him. The window at the scene was closed. Is that why? Of course. Well, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere. What were they talking about? Lemuroy, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? So please tell us. I've given it much reflection, but I'm afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday? Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it, the clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche. The shooter, then. Darian Persand. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latouche? I thought it quite strange myself afterward. It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Sir Justice, care to shed some light on this? I mean, sure, I'd be delighted. It's very, very vital. Maybe we could add it to the testimony? Maybe Apollo. Okay, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Actually, just in case that ends up being the wrong thing to do, I'll press first as usual. There's no penalty usually for that, unless the witness is a clown who's also a bitch. And it was Detective Darian Persand's voice. Yes, I'm sure of it. It's over. Press the switch. Why would he say that to Mr. Latouche? Apollo, the murder weapon, the revolver, was Mr. Latouche's, right? Yeah, what of it? Well, maybe when he said press the switch, he really meant to say pull the trigger, because his English isn't so good. Darian Persand is a native speaker! Oh, right. Sorry, I kind of forgot who was what. Press the switch. It's not something the killer usually says to his or her victim, is it? There's no one else in the room? I do not know. All I heard was Mr. Latouche and the detective. There are 2 gunshots. Yes, I heard 2, one after the other. To the buttholes at the scene. Nothing really new here to pick up. It's also matches with what we heard. There's this. Yeah, they go. Why didn't you tell someone immediately? Well, if it were me, I would have gone to the police right away. It's our duty as citizens. Maybe beside the point, but Lemuroy isn't a citizen. The one would hope such common sense prevails in Virginia as well. Lemuroy seems awfully quiet all of a sudden. It's strange. Could she be hiding something? It's as easy to say, yet at the time... You're in a hurry to go where? I was on my way to the backstage exit, as I have said. Why were you in such a hurry then? Well, I don't think that has anything to do with this case. It very well might. Please answer the question. Are you alright, Lemurois? Yes, I am just tired. Recall what I told you about yesterday, her forehead. Lemurois suffers from serious amnesia. Please refrain from traumatizing her further. Why did you prove her reason had a connection to the case before asking about it, Ja? Prosecution's objection is sustained. The current question is moot, Mr. Justice. Please continue with your cross-examination. Alright. Badam! Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But just so happens, I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage. The stage? Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lemurois heard was of someone commanding another to press the switch? It's a possibility. Oh, her forehead. I'd call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lemurois' dressing room. Not to mention that the Governors were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard. The detective voice was loud, but certainly not a shout. So, too, have her forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard. Sorry, but I have proof that he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on stage from the dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on the stage from the dressing room. Booyah! Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this? Oh, why that's... What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking? This is a type of transmitter, a communications device. Communications device? From what I've heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes, actually, they're for talking between band members. We all had one on. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple? True, but wait, those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio system, the range is quite limited. Remember, said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert forum. Ah, exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far. The direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be! So when Lemurois heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage? Ha! You're claiming this is the switch in question? Well, it had to be on the stage at the time. Could it be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere? Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooters had pressed the switch? Well, I guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's little point in debating it. Sure, this was on the way to go with this. What is this switch anyway? We don't even know that basic fact. Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. If you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, then something proved that completely changes this case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about this switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice, we have no further information to share concerning this switch. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Justice. I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what the switch is. Hmm? Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to the case. Let's see your evidence in this link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is? This thing, of course. Bam! Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this? Ah! That's that... That what? Is it another one of those newfangled pole? This is an igniter. What phone looks like this? Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter? Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote? I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you. Yo! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I'd expected. My whiskers had caught on fire. Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. The switch is a remote igniter. Trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Ah, exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught on fire in the middle of your performance. Wasn't that part of the stage show, though? Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware of such a thing that had been planned. And the car that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right. He got it in Virginia from Lamiror. Said the sound was amazing before it burned, of course. Not just kind of smokes. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Her forehead. Yes? Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lamiror, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. The two said the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed, and the guitar caught fire. Well, it does seem to make sense, though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it. Really? Seems very simple to me. Her forehead. Don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong. What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? His simple story simply makes no sense. Think! At night, my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this, indeed. However, the guitar caught on fire during the second set. Ah, that's right, of course. Yeah, I knew that. Apollo didn't seem to know it, though. I was like, where the hell are you going with this, Apollo? The guitar caught fire during Lamiror's song. Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated. Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty. See, his story makes no sense. Are you sure about that? What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice? Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. What premise is this specifically? I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. What's this? But Detective Emma Sky heard shots and found the body. What this happened in the third act? Gunshots rang out. And according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time. Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice? Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony. Namely, that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting. This is insane! Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. You know, the remote-triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What? Order! 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 But that goes against the evidence. What does, Your Honor? This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes? Hey, he's right, look! The bullet is supposed to come out after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way, huh? Look. Why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for a person doing it. Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason. Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow their lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed, Prosecutor Gavin? Criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet her forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That's the criminal's objective. Woo! The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way. Order, order, order! That explains this most unusual situation. It does. The guy changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. I tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic, for it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction, her forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lammermoor have heard a voice through it? Oh, I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lammermoor's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch. And near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as our remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. Can't all be a coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Can you tell us how Lammermoor heard the voice? A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court? Okay, Justice, you've got one thing to prove and one thing only. Lammermoor heard a voice. She heard it during the second set. Think, how's Lammermoor able to hear the voice? It could only be she was somewhere else. When we that's why she was in a hurry, right? Remember? It has to be. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it, had it been open either. Meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. Ah, it's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment I was afraid you might be a Virginian too. As I was saying, Lammermoor could not hear the voice through that window. There can only be one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely. What's this? You do amuse me so. Here I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, her forehead? Lammermoor clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there's only one small window at that scene. Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is? Ah, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You claim Lemuror heard the voice from another location, Mr. Justice. Show us where this location was. Lemuror heard the voice from here. Does this look like a small window for you? State of modern society can be read from numerous objects and artifacts. In a sense, anything can be a window in our society. I didn't ask you to point out a window in our society. I wanted a window on the crime scene. No points for trying. Come on. I can't point at the vent. This is where Lamero heard that voice from. There we go. But that's no small window. That's the air vent. What did she tell us? She said she's a Virginian and familiar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window. Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. So Lemuror was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice? That's the only logical explanation. Yes, logical? I do not think this word means what you think it means, her forehead. Okay, what about it isn't logical? Ah, it hardly merits saying. Why would Lemuror be in the ventilation system, hiding like a rat? No offense intended to her, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lemuror? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit it's hard to me. It had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed, but why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself be the interpreter. From here's words. Lemuror, the small window through which you heard the voice, was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall? Yes, it was up on the ceiling. What? I need some candy. Witness, you will clarify this statement in the court. Like right fucking now. Are you in fact saying that you were up above in the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime? Yes, in fact I was. I'm sorry. Never imagined it would become such an important point. Yes, well, why the heck were you up there? I believe it's time for another testimony. Right, I'm not sure I can. May I remind you, this is a murder trial. We will hear it testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please. Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I had heard there was a small window there before. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, that's why I stopped for a little bit. Okay, this is just confusing feeling in my nose I'm having now. I was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. Yo! The teleportation trick! As to why I was there, I cannot say. I'm bound to secrecy on this matter. Bound to secrecy? My line of work one has many obligations to uphold. To say you were in the middle of your performance. So this did happen during the second set? I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard. Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail. That's what the cross-examination is for, ja, her forehead. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission. Very well. Mr. Justice, we may begin the cross-examination. What are you going to do, Apollo? Going to find out the truth. She's up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. I can't believe I was such an idiot for trying that out a little while ago. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Bruh. The disappearing act once again. This vent. Oh, Val Gramarye? What? You mean Uncle Valent? What? Valent Gramarye? Who's Valent Gramarye? A Grand Magician, the one responsible for the illusion performed during our concert. Interesting reaction, Prosecutor Gavin. Lammerlore was bound to secrecy. It's going to take some hard-hitting proof to make her talk. I think I know why she was up there, but how do I prove it? It's probably when this thing was dropped as well. How do I prove? What evidence do I have that can prove my theory? I know what Apollo's theory is. This was what was used for the magic. I'm gonna go with the only one I think I can show. Nope. Let me get some water. I'll be right back. Ah, this game's pretty loud. I could hear it all the way from downstairs. Alright, what else can I show? Maybe the guitar? Or maybe this is the wrong thing. That's the wrong line I should be asking. Oh, no way. God damn it. I'm being called. Wagat. I accidentally typed Wagat instead of. I'm talking to Journal in Discord, by the way. He's asking something. Journal, if you're watching this, well, hey, hey. I'm Venti now. Lammeror told the truth. Truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear, especially when you consider what happened during your performance. Especially when you consider what happened during your performance. What happened? Yes, it's all right here on this video. I'm Looks like everything got solved in the end. It's all good. I don't need to talk about what happened. The MIDI instrument they're using for her voice during that cinematic is called Vocal Choir Girl Us. Ooze, I mean. I think that's really funny. That's how they MIDIs and was all the DS could really do for instruments. As we can see, Lemmerwar was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. Oh! What tends me to be so realistic? Lemmerwar is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation, so the only explanation is that she was hidden from view. During that time, she moved to the back of the forum. Apollo? What, Trucy? It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules. But I'm a lawyer, I'm not supposed to be nice. This is all very fascinating, but how is it possible? There's only 20 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. That's why she was in a hurry. She couldn't have moved that fast. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin? This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed. Aha! He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. Here we can trace a route through the ceiling. It goes from the stage through the backstage to the rear of the forum. Oh! Recall Lamiror's testimony from yesterday. Sorry, I'm eating snacks right now. You know, I was actually planning on recording this somewhat differently. To show you guys I wasn't cheating during this one particular episode, but believe me, please. The fact that I even thought about this and I'm telling you guys about it should be proof enough, right? A perfect description of this route above the ceiling! Lamiror knew of this because of her part in the illusion, but she wasn't the only one who knew. What? Just now in the lobby, Machi told me something. I know. I know if I open that, I can leave stage and backstage. He said that? Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin? I knew about the balancing act, of course. Yet I had no idea of the route that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me? Magicians only reveal the details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know? Which is why he bound Lamiror to secrecy. Well, Lamiror, I am impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you. So what does this mean? Are you saying you used this rope along the ceiling? I did. Oh, that's that, but I'm still a little confused. Why is that, Your Honor? As I said before, there was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared. 20 seconds, tops. How would you do it so fast? Especially if you stopped to hear the shooter's voice. That's a good question. Can the witness explain this to the court? I cannot. Very well, Mr. Justice. Yes? It's all up to you. Do your thing. Of what thing, Your Honor? You need to explain how Lamiror was able to teleport like she did, or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater. I Why do I get picked on? It's Lammeror who isn't going along with the program here. As I have stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail. Well, we have everything we need. You'll just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her. Yes, if you would, please. Right. I feel like a student before finals. Good luck, Apollo. I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. Here's an emergency exit in the backstage. First stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice. 2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens. As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice. Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find a contradiction between what Lammeror is saying. You can see plainly in the video. I figured it out already. I'm a magician after all. Well, tell me. Not a chance. I gotta reveal another magician's secrets. Come on. You're supposed to be on my side here. Can I at least get a hint? Hey, that's not a bad guess. Wrong, but not bad. Haha, yes, laugh at the dumb and thorny, I don't mind. Hahaha, I'm sorry, but the girl is right. That vent was much too small for vehicles. It was a tight fit. Even I had to crouch as I walked. I cannot imagine a vehicle that would fit in such a small space. If it wasn't a vehicle, what was it? You had me going for a while there, Mr. Justice. Too bad. Ready for the next part? Why do I feel like I'm on some kind of quiz show? Yo, what? This isn't part of poor Polo's job description. This is such a bullshit, biased law system. Did everyone on the concert staff knew about the trick? Not all, only a few that were needed to help. See, like I said, it's on a need-to-know basis. Not many people knew about the trick. What were these stagehands required to do? One needed to open the emergency exit. The door to the stairs is locked, but once through it there... So when you came back out, you were behind the audience. Yes, that is how it worked. Not a bad show if I do say so myself. That's Uncle Val for you. The old grammary touch. But on the video, you were only gone for 20 seconds. Less than, in fact. How's that possible? The part I don't get either. Hahaha, yes. It would be hard to go so far in only 20 seconds. Two minutes? Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you are running. Running in that cramped dark tunnel above the ceiling? Haha, Mr. Attorney. Have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me. Ah, that's true, but... So you're saying that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes? Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway. Lammeror disappears in the video for 20 seconds, but she says she made it the trip in 2 minutes. How? You want my professional opinion? I'll bet the answer's right there in that video. Well, Mr. Justice, perhaps you have some evidence for us? Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony. Ah, evidence explaining the discrepancy. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure this is the correct way to go, so let's go. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. I am not watching that fucking video again. I wanna say that I'm actually genuinely lost again, once again, for the first time in a long time. I swear I'm not cheating. If I get this right on the first time, then that was a lucky guess. I'll go with this. Aha, so this is it. The magical key to unlocking the solution's dark secret. That's how it works. Quickly, I can't bear the suspense. I was kind of hoping someone else to jump in at this point. Well, you see... Her Judge, I do hate to spoil the mood, but I haven't the faintest idea what he's talking about, and neither does he. I'm a little confused too there, Polo. Right, by which I conclude that I was wrong. Better luck next time, Pollywog! Was Darian's voice heard? Yes, I am certain it was him. Matter best left for later, Ja. Put that forehead of yours to work on the solution first. Hold on, I think the identity of the killer is a little more important, don't you? Important more since objection overruled. Doesn't about the illusion! I think he's trying to avoid the problem at hand, Apollo. Trying to avoid the problem? This is a murder trial! The killer's the problem! Fine, I guess I'm watching this again. I'm keeping count of this time. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I guess it was around 20 seconds. Bruh. It can't just be the videotape again, right? I'm paying attention to her boobies. Trust me, there's a very good reason for this. Come on, close up. Give us a close up, please. Lemuror, do you happen to remember this brooch? Aha, the brooch. We saw that yesterday, we not? It was found at the scene, Your Honor. Did you bring this up now? Why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped. So did I, but we hadn't. Take another look at the video. Here you can see she's wearing the brooch. Wow, that is super weird. So she is. Let's look a bit later. What? The brooch? It's gone! What? Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short space of 20 seconds. And it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can only be one explanation. The Lemuror we see before the vanishing act and the Lemuror we see after are two different people. Oh. What? The brooch is found on the floor at the crime scene, and not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Ooh. Lemuror, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way from the stage to the backstage? At the very moment you witnessed the crime? Yes, I think I did. Order for Prosecutor Gavin. From your expression, I gather you had no idea this was the case, Her Judge. I, of course, knew about it. What? Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time. So, I was right, there was a switch. There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Lameroir was replaced. While we're on the subject, just who was this replacement Lameroir? Why, the man behind the illusion, Gramarye. Was Gramarye? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. Yes. The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage. That's right. But this fake Lameroir is still singing. And she's pretty good. That's true. Come on, Apollo, that's an easy one. They're just playing a recording. Gaviners aren't some kind of air guitar band, Fräulein. Oh, you mean I'm wrong? When we play show live, we play live. No recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Lameroir. Very well. Yes, do tell, and add it to your testimony. You were singing? Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this. Wait, so you're singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage? Why should it matter where I sing when everywhere I go is the same darkness? But if you were singing while you were walking... That's right. Wouldn't the shooter and victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads after all. That is right. Are you sure? That'd be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling. Once again, we come back to the state of the scene of a crime. What state? Ah, I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo. The speaker? That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Ah, that's for monitoring the stage of this room. Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually. The Lameroir singing in the ceiling sounded just like Lameroir singing over the speaker. Ingenious! Her voice was hidden! By her voice! Ah, Lameroir? I have just remembered something. Do tell! When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes? Startled me, so I stopped singing. What? I forgot the words I was supposed to sing. The song stopped? Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse, so not many would notice. Forehead, that mixing board I lent you, where is it? The mixing? Huh? That machine, Apollo, the one that breaks music into tracks. Oh, this, I completely forgot. You're just carrying that around. Let's take a listen. Obviously, this thing would play a role in the story again. Wouldn't just be introduced and never frickin' be used again. Why give a tutorial to something when a tutorial's all it'll ever be? Receive. The song does stop there. Thus, I must have missed it. But the lyrics sheet, at the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again. Damn. This is evidence indeed. Only one pleasure played. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake. The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lameroir's ballad. That is true. Then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter. Which means that Darian Croissant could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains. What's that, Prosecutor Gavin? Her forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Lammermoor's testimony. Yes. Is there a problem with this? Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. No evidence, no nothing. What if she's lying to protect the defendant? But you have no proof. All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear, until we hear directly from the man himself. The man? You don't mean? Yes. Though he is a friend and a band member, Darian Croissant must take the stand. I see no other way. As someone with a new perspective on the case? As a suspect, to be frank. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. Oh yeah, finally time to win this. And I'm ready to catch him. Darian Croissant, get ready for justice. This is as good time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin. I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are. Very well. Court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess. Well, damn. Well, that was epically long. But unfortunately, I will have to end the video here. I got a life. As much as it pains me, I have other stuff I really want to be doing right now. Still. Like playing Genshin Impact.